So what we're looking at here are we have some what we're calling design notebooks from Will Wright, who is the creator of The Sims.
So what you have here in these notebooks is him playing through these ideas of how to create a game that really simulates human life, which is an enormously complex undertaking.
So all the different verbs that you would use, all the different adjectives. Specifically, this page here is dealing with maybe some functions in the bathroom.
Go into detail. What does it say on the page?
That's not my brand.
Yeah, it's a logic. You know, he's dealing with the basic logic of the game. So there are things like, you know, if male, seat up, else seat down. You know, okay, here we are.
Flush, arm animation, flush sound.
And that's one of the interesting things you see with Will with these notebooks is he's all over the place. You're going from these logic, you might have some little snatches of code. There are random lists of things. There are schematic diagrams.
You're seeing just specific, key words that he's going to use for programming, maybe some ideas for, again, like verbs and other characteristics of things. And then you'll also see his grocery list, or, oh, you should call Brenda back, or, things like that within these papers.
But I just want to see, and this is interesting, again, you see even things here, for instance, so sounds. He's like, number 1, this is bathroom. It's going to cost you $26K. Number 2 is $19K, flush down to $23K. And all this is $128K. And you see how programmers, game designers, they're working within constraints here. So if I'm doing this, I'm not doing something else. So in this case, spending $19K on the number 2 sound for the game is going to cost you in somewhere else in the game because there's limited resources to what you can do.
The constraints of his bathroom fetish that he just can't get around.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah.
We can find a page about the kitchen instead.
Will had lost a lot of his possessions in a fire when there were fires in California, a forest fire, so wildfires. And so he didn't have much left. So we actually met him. We were down at Toy Fair in New York City. We met him there. He said, "Oh, I do have these notebooks, which are some of my design notebooks," and he can talk about that. And so we ended up then later sending it to us.
Some very nice doodling here.
Yes, sometimes you can tell he's in meetings or just he's sitting there. This is, I think, if I'm remembering. So this is looking at some of the different aspects of the game. Again, talk about object and the way the object, different motivations here. Motives are economic, social, that sort of thing. You see here, again, I'm reading upside down, but you see there's a little thought bubble here going to food. And he's very interested in motivations in terms of when designing the game. He also talked in here, and I'm not sure where it is, he talked very directly about metaphor. What is the game? Is game as toy, for instance? And is this closer to like a dollhouse versus an actual, say, a board game or something like that? And play, and that's one of the things I think for us at the museum very interested in viewing this as a play object as opposed to just a game. Right, so here he's thinking through some of the things we were just talking about. So, play is learning right there. I think this is for a talk he was doing, presentation. I'm not sure if it's an internal talk or something out, or like a GDC thing, but he has these 3 metaphors, and actually Will's talked about these games, models, and toys. So, and again, is this more like a dollhouse? He talks about The Sims as a dollhouse, where really the play is endless in a dollhouse, as opposed to something like a board game, something like that. Here he says, train sets, never finished. And he talked about the SimCity as being like a model train display.
Makes sense.
I like this too. Kids love failure.
Yeah, crashing things and
right,
start all over again.
He says right there, tower blocks. It's just as fun to knock that tower down as it is to build
He also invented boom blocks, apparently. Yeah, beat Spielberg too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here again, computer is games, computer is models, computer is toys.
Dollhouse for boys.
Yeah.
Or strategy game for girls. It's interesting.
Yeah. Whereas SimCity, and then starting with
SimCity 2000.
Starting to work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait.
He was developing them both at the same time.
Okay.
And also the Simcopter. So this is like early Sims work all the way through SimCity 2000, Simcopter. And so, some of this might be sort of post-mortem, I think, because you see like lessons. Julia, you may know better than I do, but experience of going through them is that they're not systematic. He might jump back and forth between different journals.
Or use a different notebook at a certain time, and yeah.
Yeah, here's, I think he's, graphic, sound. Again, some of the basic, I can't read what that, something options there. I'm just trying to figure out what he's doing. And there's some German in here, Arbeit, which is work, and kitchen, Kochen, which is kitchen cuisine. These are German, French, like,
Yeah.
I don't know why he has German, like sort of French, English going on here all at the same time. So here, you just like different levels of sort of needs, those sort of basic human needs, and then you're assigning a number to them. And that's a lot of what again, figure out how do you gamify this? How do you gamify life in a way that makes it interesting and enjoyable?
Sleep, job, grooming, cook, TV, socializing, telephone, ? Cleaning, reading, computer, and miscellaneous recreation. That seems fair these days too. Maybe telephone's a little more. Some jobs you can have includes homeless and serial killer. So,
That's one of the interesting things. I think will lay the pattern down, because you always have the straightforward stuff, but then you need to have a little humor in there, or the outlandish thing that'll help bring it there.
Yeah.
Now, one thing he does note on this page is it's under models. He has Mule and Monopoly. So Mule was a game by Dani Button-Berry. We have her papers here in the archives as well, some materials from her family. And we know that Will Wright credited Dani as a big influence on the creation of The Sims.
So here again, you're seeing values being put on things, and I would have to go back.
These look like vocations. They're calling. This includes a B movie star.
Yeah. And when we first started this process of building the video game collection here in the mid 2000s. I'm a historian by training, and I don't think one thing that motivated me was that thinking that, okay, I knew how collections were used of 19th century novels or film, and that people would be wanting to study these materials in the future the same way they study the history of the novel or the history of the film. And video games are having such a transformative effect on play, learning, society, that to preserve these things really will help people in the future understand how they arose, how some of the greatest titles arose specifically, like something like Will Wright, like The Sims or something. But also, as Julie was saying, this interrelationship between different titles. Again, a random thing. Here's your horoscope. You need to have a horoscope in here. These are different.
We're deep in the horoscopes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So these are all must be relationships to other people. So how Virgo relates to
good and bad.
Good, bad. Yeah, good, bad. So,
Some more affection verbs here. Kiss, hug, back rub. Cheer, gift, flirt.
Oh,
and back to horoscopes.
Back to horoscopes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was Game Master Player. Yeah, this may be. There are some Spore ones in here that are anonymous, remailing legal issues. Team. Yeah, this may be Tuesday. I mean, there's cell phone. This is almost like business stuff in here, linked in with every, Okay, so you have someone's phone number here. You have team meetings, his calendar, but then you also have some sort of table here that includes ingest, excrete, and mobility. So. Right above rapid prototyping. Yeah. So this, as Julie was saying, this is Will, example of how Will's brain would have worked in here. Relationship diagrams in here.
Which, life is a rich tapestry.
And we joke about it, but if you think about the profound effect, how many millions of people have played The Sims? How many tens of millions of copies have played versions of the have sold? It really is, I think, key in terms of its impact on culture and how society is. So, is this all? Now I don't know. Is this notebook?
This
is
is Sims and
miscellaneous? So, perfect. Micro Sims. Is this? It's hard to know exactly, without going back and looking at it more, whether this is something within The Sims or whether this is variation. I would have to go back and study it more, probably try to figure it out.
There's a lot of times that we'll talk to somebody and they'll be like, I wish I'd have known about you 3 years ago. I burned everything in a bonfire, things that.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
This is the point where I look directly at the camera and
Yes.
say, if you have your materials, we are interested in working with you to save them. Help us preserve game history. That's where Julia and the other librarians here and curators, that's what they really do, is take chaos and bring order out of that, which then makes it useful for other people, whether it's people internally to create exhibits or researchers from around the world who come here and can use this now, 10 years from now, 100 years from now.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's Will Wright's brain.
Yeah, there it is, downloaded on the
Great.
graph paper.
Yep.